Let's start with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Well, Amplitech is a high-tech company. We make a core component called an amplifier, and it's the core component in every communication system that's out there, whether it's cell phones, satellites, radars, anything wireless, you need an amplifier to amplify that signal. And our product is the industry-leading product, and it has the best performance. And we're looking to put it into everything they use every day today.
I've been waiting for a chance, and I think it's finally come, 'cause
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sal here with another great episode. And today I've got Peter Nicuzio on the line to talk about Ampg, Amplitech. He is from bullinadvantage.com as well as bluehorseshoestocks.com. And ladies and gentlemen, he's here to talk about why this stock that is breaking out of multi-month resistance is on track to be an incredible gainer and why he believes that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the company's leadership. We're going to talk about its path to profitability. We're going to talk about the incredible multi-quarter improvements that have been being made to the bottom line. So we've got a lot to discuss. If you're not a subscriber, do me a favor, click subscribe right now. Click like right now. I appreciate it. It helps me grow. So with that being said, no more delays. Let's get into the interview right now. What's going on, everyone? Sal here, SupremePennyStocks.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a really great episode for you today here on Stock Watch. You guys know I always bring you the latest and greatest tickers, PRED, WYSL, so many great tickers. And ladies and gentlemen, I think I got another one for you today. Ticker is AMPG, go by the name Amplitech Group. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I would call a 5G play. I've got somebody to really give us some great information about the company and why he thinks it's going to be a great investment moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Peter, I want to say it correctly, Nicosia?
It's Nicosia. Honestly, you could call me anything but late for dinner.
All right, Peter, I appreciate you for coming on to the show. First and foremost, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got involved with the company.
Sal, first, I want to thank you for taking the time to get me on your show. Peter Nicosia, I'm with Bull & Advantage, my investor relations firm. I started in 2006. Now, I got in the investor relations business in the early 2000s while I was going to college. And I kind of got my foot in the business back then, and I thought that there was a good opportunity to grow in a good business, and I figured I would stick with it. So after I got in the business, I worked for a group here locally in Rochester, New York for a few years. I branched out and started my own firm, and that's when I started Bull & Advantage in 2006. And I started bullinadvantage.com and redhotpennystock.com. And since then, I've expanded and built a bunch of websites, acquired a lot of websites along the way, and I've worked with hundreds of companies over the years. Now, the thing that separates me from most IR firms, or a lot of people label us as promoters, is I write a daily newsletter. And I don't just talk about penny stocks. We talk about big board companies as well, everything from Apple to Tesla to the S&P 500. And how we leverage our experience is through options. We do a lot of options calls in our newsletter, and these could be day trade opportunities or swing trade opportunities. So I like to think of myself a little bit different from most of the other IR firms or so-called promoters, as we're putting out daily content. We're not just putting out stock picks that we're paid to cover. And I do want to post full disclosure that I am paid to cover Amplitech. They have retained me for my investor relations services, and all this is disclosed in my disclaimer on my blog, which is bluehorseshoestocks.com.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank you again, Peter, for joining us today. Again, the ticker we want to talk about is AMPG. Looking at the monthly chart here, one of my favorite times to look at great penny stocks. I see here this stock is breaking above an 8-month kind of resistance level here. again, I know the company has a lot to do with 5G, these low-profile amplifiers. Give us a little bit more detail about the company.
Yeah, so Amplitech is a technology company, and a lot of the products that they specialize in are high frequency or microwave amplifiers. Now, these aren't amplifiers like music amplifiers. These are technology amplifiers that are used to transfer signals, for example, like Wi-Fi and 5G. So what's really good about Amplitech's products is they're made right here in the USA.
How big a market is it?
Well, if you look at the future, if you look at 4G, 5G, and the Internet of Things, if we're successful, that business big is $14 trillion by itself. And that's just the communication side of it. The medical side is hundreds of billions of dollars. And need I say more? Base stations are even more. So if we cover all of those, even a fraction of that business is very, very good for us.
And because their products are such high quality, they're able to send signals further and clearer.
Understood. I love the fact that they're based here in Bohemia, New York, which is in Long Island. I mean, they're literally on the doorstep of Verizon and many other great American communication companies. So that's just, you know, another part of what led me to believe that this was, you know, a real deal. This is not a fly-by-night company. This is not a company that's been through 10 or 15 different shells. I mean, this is a company that, again, the CEO, I don't think I spoke on it, Fawad Makboul. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. Excuse me if I'm not. He's also a trained engineer. I mean, this guy is actually understands what he's producing and the technology that he owns. I believe from interviews I've read, it's a proprietary technology. So the company actually has, it's not a white label product. They actually have a design and a particular way of doing business that they own. So I'm really
Background.
I'm an engineer by trade. That's my background. I'm a biomedical engineer also, and also a microwave engineer. So I can also envision the company getting into medical applications as well. People think amplifiers are limited to certain applications, but we're looking at advancing that into medical applications and medical technology, diagnostics, non-invasive technology, cancer prevention, many different applications.
really excited about Amplitech and its breakout here on the monthly chart. Now, Peter, I want to get into the fundamentals now. The most recent filing, the 10K that recently came out showing incredible numbers. Let's talk about that. I mean, can you give us some insight on what management is doing right now? Where in the process is the company right now?
Well, I do want to talk about how Fawad is extremely focused and he's very humble. You know, in the past, when I've worked with CEOs, a lot of these CEOs of these penny stock companies can get a little bit, full of themselves, and they think they have the next best thing since pants with pockets. I've never heard that type of tone from Fawad. He sticks his head down and he's focusing on the business, growing his customer base, growing the company organically, and being able to offer more products. They just did an acquisition which is very strategically located. It's only 2.5 miles from their facility. Now, their facility is a 5,500 square foot facility. The company they just acquired, which essentially doubles their revenue, is 2.5 miles from them, but that's a 7,500 square foot facility. And the person that owns that facility, their landlord, has a property right next to it for another 75 square hundred. That they have a neighbor that has 75 square hundred feet. So essentially, they could expand to 15,000 square feet down the road. So that could be, 3 times larger than what they currently are operating out of. Now, their plan to move into the new facility was identified in their recent news of this acquisition. I think they want to get in there by the end of the year.
Understood. Excellent. I mean, this company is just, one contract away from really getting to that next level. And that's what I love about trading penny stocks, is that you get into them so early, right? We're getting into these companies so young. And I mean, the footprint, the foundation is already there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, do your research. You're going to come to the very same conclusions here. The foundation is already being laid. Right now, it's just Amplitech, delivering, moving forward. And so far, they're already showing a lot of signs of that. When we look at the recent financial information, we're seeing, again, nearly 100% gains in both cash on hand as well as sales. Liabilities are low. Also, I didn't see a lot of that junk financing that we see a lot of times in companies that try to do too much. We saw, again, a growth in revenue, gross profit. I mean, across the board, gains on all the lines that are really, really important to
And when
traders as well as investors.
when investors look at their quarterly numbers, you have to look at the Q1 from last year and compare that to the Q1 of this year. You can't really look at the fourth quarter and compare the growth to the first quarter, because these businesses have cycles, and usually the first quarter of the year there's a lot more expenses involved, and that's why it tends to be a slower start. But so you really need to compare the first quarter of this year to the first quarter of last year. And they grew, let's see here.
I mean, that's well over 100% when I pull over the information from last year. Well over 100% when I pull that up. So very impressive numbers when I look.
And now you mentioned you don't see any of that. You mentioned you don't see any of that toxic financing in here, which is really good. The fact that Amplitech's a OTCQB, they're fully reporting and they're fully transparent. So all this information is in the filings. They recently added a director by the name of Wayne Homestead, and he's going to be overseeing their investment banking. And I'm confident in his ability to continue, with the right type of financing, and structuring their deals so it doesn't dilute their shareholders.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're hoping for that too, right? I mean, as traders who are looking to come into that play, that's a good sign to know, bringing in quality people, and again, staying from that toxic deck. But it's also more important, the fact that we have a founder-owner situation here, a guy who has been there from day one, who's still on board, who's running this company and doing a great job of it, I might add, is still on board. I think this is a really exciting play. We're really getting here at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you can get in any better than this. Forget about, 2 cents, 3 cents. You're not going to see that anymore. This is a great time for you to get into this stock. Be patient with it. And as you guys have known, who've been watching my channel now for the 3, 4, 5 years that I've been on, you know how this works. Get into it right now, set it and forget it, and allow it to rise. We're going to stay on top of Ampg. This is a really exciting play. Peter, what else can you tell us to look forward to as the days and months come along on Ampg?
I'm sure not only would I like to know, but our audience would like to know, how does your amplifier, how is it used in the medical field?
Well, interesting question. One of the main functions would be in diagnosis. Diagnosis and treatment of anomalies, anomalous tissues, such as tumors. We can actually perform non-invasive techniques using very, very sensitive amplifiers, even in the cryogenic field. And that would be a boon to the industry. And also, diseases like epilepsy and brain diseases can be detected using electromagnetic receivers that are in the brain, in the helmet. So microwave can be detected and actually solve medical problems.
Have you begun to test this?
We've started the R&D on that. We have a research scientist on board that's actually a cancer treatment and ablation expert. So we're looking at using microwave energy, high power microwave energy, to actually treat these types of anomalies like.
And, Peter, tell us a little bit about the current share structure. Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, I see market cap just under 3 million. What's the float out there on this play right now?
Well, right now, held at DTC, there's only 22 million shares circulating in the public float. The total outstanding shares is 48 million, and that's how you get to that $2.9 million market cap. For those that are not as savvy investors, they don't understand market cap. Okay, well, you multiply the total outstanding shares by the share price, and that's what you get as your market cap. Now, if you looked at the financials last year, they did 2.4 million in sales. The market cap's only 2.9 million. A lot of these plays are traded on multiples of what they're doing for revenues. So the fact that this one's trading at such a low market cap is really what intrigues me. With this recent acquisition, that should push their sales to 4 to 5 million this year. I'm looking for Amplitech to continue to grow organically through strategic acquisitions and adding new products down the road. So we definitely want to keep an eye on this. And with this big conference that they got coming up in Boston, I wouldn't be surprised if they get some new business out of it. I'm going to be joining them in Boston. If anybody's in the area and wants to check it out, look for the news of that event in the weeks ahead. Stay tuned to Amplitech's social media accounts because they're very active on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on Twitter, their handle is Amplitech Ampg.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have all of those links in the description below, so you can definitely check that out and start following Ampg right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, jump on this opportunity. I know you guys are going to do, some of you guys are going to jump in, and some of you guys, unfortunately, are going to be the ones who are going to come back to this video a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, and say, Sal, I should have jumped on it. I should have jumped on it. Don't have this be another ticker that you decide to stay on the sidelines on and miss out. You've got to take a risk. You're an investor. You're a trader. This is where you jump in and let this company do what we believe it's going to do, and that is continue to gain market share, continue to grow in value, return investor funds with a profit. So with that being said, Peter, you just mentioned a conference. Can you tell us when that conference is going to be again?
I believe it's the first week in June. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay. I got to get the exact coordinates on the location. But I believe that's June 4th, 5th, and 6th. So it's actually 3 weeks away. And like I said, I'm going to be out there with Amplitech. We're going to be presenting their products. We're going to be looking for new, synergies. Now, if you look at their impressive client list, they've got deals with Boeing, U.S. Department of Defense, NASA, Harris Corporation, Harris Communications, which Harris makes a lot of military communications products. So this technology company, Amplitech, is already in bed with some really big name clients. They're doing a lot of really good things, and that's why I'm so excited to see what the future holds. Just stop by my blog, bluehorseshoestocks.com. In the upper right corner of my website, there's a search bar. Type in AMPG, do a search, check out the articles that we've posted and the coverage that we've done, and I'll be sure to include your video in my next coverage. So I really appreciate you taking the time and getting me on, and I look forward to coming on again sometime.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, Peter. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, ladies and gentlemen, ticker AMPG. AMPG. As I said earlier into the video, this is just a company that's one contract away, but this is the moment. This is the moment for you to take advantage of before the big news comes, because you want to be able to profit when that does happen. So we want to get in early. We want to be positioned to succeed. And I think right now, at the breakout here of this, damn near a year almost, this is where you want to be a part of this, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Peter, thank you so much for stopping by. This is a great company, great management. Things look very, very healthy here. And I'm excited to be a part of this. So can't wait to bring you back on to talk about this again and see where it's at.